Hello and welcome to Demian Allan's astrology channel and to February 2024 and looking at all of the 12 zodiac signs and how it's going to affect them over the next 4 weeks. Please become a subscriber and also comment and like the video. It all helps spread the joy of astrology. So I'm going to break this video down into 3 parts. The first, we'll be looking at the 12 signs of the zodiac and how they're affected in February. The second will be a little bit of an overview generally. And then the third will be answering some questions regarding Pluto video that I did last month and some of the questions that come up in the comments. Okay, so let's start, shall we? We're going to start off with Aries and what Aries can expect for this month, February 2024. Okay, I'm still getting used to saying that, 2024. Okay, so a lot of the focus is going to be on the career aspects for you, Aries, for February. Your planetary ruler is Mars, and that is traveling for the first half of the month in your 10th house, which is the house of aspirations, career, how the public see you, how you initiate your work and the energy that you put into your work at that time. And, you know, Mars is a very direct, assertive planet. And so for Aries, this is a very dynamic month to do with career matters and the choices that you make. And that's important, the choices that you make at this time to do with your career and your aspirations and where you want to go. So this is about actioning decisions that you've made previously and putting them externally out there. So if you've got your own business, this is an excellent opportunity for launching new products, new things to do with maybe social media. It's about how you're seen in the public eye. In the second half of the month, around about the 15th, then your planetary ruler Mars moves into Aquarius and moves into the 11th house, which focuses much more on groups, ideals, societies, friendships, but also the money that you make from your career and how you invest in that and how you manage that money as well. And again, Mars doesn't pull any punches. It wants you to be very direct in your energy and in your decision making. So Aries will like all of this. This is good. You've also got the Sun and for a couple of weeks Mercury as well in the 11th house. This is a really good time to connect with friendships, to connect with people who have the same thinking patterns as you, and to express your ideas in the way that can make you feel that, you know what, actually, there's people out there that think the same as me and on my wavelength. And that could give you further ideas for the future. Okay, Taurus. Right, okay, Taurus. So you've got 2 planets moving in your own zodiac sign. Jupiter, of course, that is moving direct. And Uranus, which from the 27th of January last month was also starting to move direct in your own sign. Now, this is putting a lot of emphasis on a lot happening with Taurus at the moment. And this is covering a lot of the Taurians, actually, because of the Jupiter, Uranus, and where they are in terms of degrees of Taurus. Now, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So Taurians like to do things at their own accord, make their own decisions, and go at their own pace. With Jupiter and Uranus going direct in your own sign, that's a little bit tricky to do. There will be a feeling that things are out of your control, or that you're not making the decisions, other people are making decisions, and therefore you do not feel that you are able to accomplish as much as you're expected to do. And in a way, this is slightly the case, that you have to be very, very careful with taking on too much, taking on too much responsibility. People come up to you, can you do this? And you go, okay, yeah, I can do this. You know, there's this great quote, is that if you want things to get going, then ask a busy person to do it. And it's a bit like that with the Taurians this month, that they are busy. There's a lot going on. The Sun is also in your 10th house. You've got Mercury in there. And, so it's a very, very busy month for Taurians. Things will move quickly. Things will need you to be adaptable and also to be making decisions very, very quickly. It's not good to procrastinate or stagnate during February for a lot of Taurians. It's to go with the flow, seize the opportunities, think big, and cross your fingers. It's a bit like that. If you could do that, you'll get a lot out of this month. If you try to resist all that, in that sort of slightly stubborn energy that sometimes you can go into, then you're going to find that things become a little bit more tricky, more difficult, and nothing actually moves. Okay, let's go to Geminis. So Geminis are ruled by Mercury. February, Mercury's in Capricorn for the first 5 days, then moves into Aquarius, which is a fellow air sign like yourself. So you're really that will work very, very nicely for you. Particularly, it goes into the 9th house, which is the house of education, training, morals, ethics, astrology, and ideals and visions for the future. So this is really good for being quite creative time period. And then it will move into your 10th house right at the end, around about the 22nd, 23rd. It will move into your 10th house, that Mercury, and that ignites the career and aspirational aspect of you. So expect quite a lot of things to move quickly in your career and opportunities to come in. It's a bit of a case for Geminis of they're going to be spreading themselves quite a bit, and they may be going in too many different directions during this month. Be careful of that. Would I say that to Geminis don't mind sort of, going here, there, and everywhere, but I think that particularly at the end of the month, that last sort of 5-6 days of the month, I think you just got to be careful in terms of your work, your career, that you're centered, you're grounded, and you have a kind of a feeling, right, okay, this is what I want to get out of my career for 2024. And the reason I say that is because on the 24th, there is this kind of energy that is going to really kind of make things, quite interesting for you in terms of where you're going and what you're doing. And that is a lot to do with the energy of the moon at that time. And I think for a lot of you, it's going to be a lot's going to go on because you've got this full moon in Virgo. And that's to do with the 4th house and the roots of you. So it's really kind of important to know your motivations at this time. It really kind of highlights things an awful lot during that time. That's around about the 24th of February. And that has a consequence to your career and your motivations. So to look out for that. Okay. So let's move on to Cancer. And again, we're going into the moon energies going on here because we've got a new moon on the 9th, that's in Aquarius. And on the 24th, we got a full moon in Virgo. So the new moon on the 9th for Cancerians, really kind of hits the area of the 8th house, which is all about your partner's money, but also it's what I call the therapeutic house, or the house that where all the skeletons in the closet are, and you have to sort of take them out and examine them and put them back in. That's a new start in your psychological development for Cancerians, and the patterns of behavior that perhaps that worried nature that sometimes Cancerians can kind of have in their personality, perhaps looking at it in a very, very different way, or having different responses to it that are much more positive. And that being quite a significant development for the year ahead for you, Cancerians. Very much. We look at the full moon, which is in Virgo. That's hitting your 3rd house of communication on the 24th. That means it's highlighting their particular areas or the way that you're communicating with people, doing it in a very, very different way. For a lot of Cancerians, the main energy for the first part of February is going to be on other people, because you've got Mars traveling in the 7th house, which is the house of other people and relationships and partnerships. And when Mars is traveling in there, you've got to be very, very careful, simply because there could be like too much of other people projecting energies onto you, maybe their angers, maybe their frustrations. And you will feel you want to assert your own kind of frustrations, and therefore it becomes a clash. And this is really about boundaries and setting boundaries very clearly with dealing with other people and how other people deal with you. And what they expect from you is going to be a big, big thing during this month. So it's to really kind of look out for that, that first half. Again, when we move past the sort of 15th, Mars will go into the 8th house, which is very, very comfortable with in Aquarius. So it's less focused in the second half of the month on other people and other people's frustrations. And you may find that people are being sort of a bit too direct with you. And, you know, Cancerians are sensitive souls. So they need to kind of take time out for themselves, particularly in the first 2 weeks of February. Okay, let's go into Leo. So Leo, a lot's going on this month. You've had last month Pluto ingressing into your 7th house. You've got the sun in the 7th house. You're going to have Mercury from around about the 5th, 6th. So there's a stellium of planets in your 7th house, which is house of relationships, partnerships, other people, diplomacy, harmony. And the spotlight is going on that side of things, on other people. Now, Leo's as a kind of archetype likes to be in the spotlight, directing energy outwardly. And in this case, February, it's all about other people. What other people can bring into you, what you can expect from other people, how you respond to other people's opinions of you as a Leo, what they expect from you, and what you expect from them. There's the dynamic of polarity going on here, the individual against the other people. So there's a lot that is taking place here, and this can have a profound effect on you. It might feel that other people have more control over your life than you would like. And that's the challenge that's coming on for you in February. What I would say is try not to get too fixated on that other people have got more control, because they haven't. It's just the perception where the planetary energy is going. So what can you do in this particular month? What I would say is allow things to play out with other people. Don't fixate, don't attach onto their ideas, what they say, what they might do, or what they might say. Let that go. Just let it play out. Because when we go into March, it's a very, very different energy that's taking place. We want that Pluto in your 7th house to sort of ignite in a nice, positive way, and not in a way that feels like, right, okay, you become a little bit attached to the idea of what other people think of you. So let it play out. Don't need to attach anything onto other people or what they say. Okay, Virgos. So Virgos, this is a month when obviously you've got the full moon on the 24th in your own zodiac sign, which is always important because it brings things to a close and then starts a new cycle again. And it brings issues or things up to the surface that need to be illuminated. And that's a very big thing that's sort of playing out here. So yeah, you've got also Mercury at the last 5 days of the month going into your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. And so it's, again, getting the balance and communication in those areas and with other people going to be quite strong. So that last week is going to be of February is a really strong, busy week for you. Leading up to that, I would sort of say that a lot of the energy is directed to almost like getting things done. And you know, getting things done means that, you know, in a way that is pragmatic. A lot of the planets, the sun, Mercury, are in your 6th house, which is, you know, that house or that placement is your working environment, your general health, your service to others. It is kind of like the daily house, the daily chores house, I look at it. So when you have planets in that kind of zone, it really directs to you planning and being strategic with your day and getting into routines. Maybe health routines will be a real benefit that are actually going to make you feel good about yourself and in control. And that takes you up to that 24th, where you have the full moon in your own sign. And that's quite a, you know, purifying kind of aspect to that. So this is really about structure and routine, which, to be honest, Virgos are going to be very happy about. Okay, Librans. So Librans, this is a very important month for you. The sun is in, for the majority of the month, at least to the 19th, of course, in an air sign like yourself. But however, you've got a lot of stuff going on within the family section of your life. You've got Mars, you've got Venus briefly in the 4th house. And this is the house and the placement of family, the roots, and the inner world, basically, and where you gain your security from and where you gain your kind of motivation. And that's really kind of important in terms of knowing how we can move forward in a way that's going to make us feel good about, you know, where we are in our life. We have to check in sometimes with ourselves. And I think Librans are going to have to do this, to check in with what's actually motivating and what's going on. And then they can kind of begin to move forward. Very, very strong kind of month, really good for like spiritual development as well here. But you've got the playful aspect of the sun and Mercury in the 5th house, so there is a sort of social playful aspect coming, and an enjoyment as well, and a self-expressive. So this is a month where seemingly not much happens externally, but actually internally a lot's been going on, and you will feel that, you know, by the end of the month you know yourself better. Okay, let's go to Scorpios. So Scorpios, listen, got a lot going in your 7th house. Jupiter and Uranus both going direct transit in your 7th house, so that's relationships, other people. And you know, Scorpios, like all the fixed signs, that's Aquarius, Leos, Scorpios, Taurus, they don't like change, and yet there is a lot of change happening, and there's a lot of other people bringing in change that you can find sometimes a little bit challenging, because they may be challenging your worldview and what you believe in. And so it's trying to get a balance between not, you know, defending yourself, but not becoming too attached to the idea of what other people think of you. And I think at this time, you know, you've also got a lot of the energy directed to the 4th house, the family, the roots, who you are, where you come from, and also to do with property and stuff like that. So there's a lot that's happening. This is a very dynamic month. It may feel like a lot of it is out of your control, and in a way it is, but at the same time, it can be a situation that you feel that you can get a lot out of these next 4 weeks, and a lot can be achieved. Maintain self-discipline. Try not to sort of go into a truth-seeking labyrinth of like, what's their motivation? What's that person doing? Why are they doing that? What, you know, drop the detective just for this month, and concentrate on yourself instead of other people. You will get a lot more out of this month if you do that. Okay, let's move on to Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarians, for you, the career is kind of being the thing that's being sort of lit up, because we got the full moon in your 10th house, which is the house of career, lighting up and really bringing to the surface what needs to be done in your career matters. And it means that you're firmly in the spotlight, particularly at the end of the month. You've also got a lot sort of taking place in your 4th house. You've had a lot going on in your 4th house. I think, you know, if you look since 2011, a lot of Sagittarians have had to work on the idea of, what's kind of, where do they come from, and working into the sort of depths of the soul and transforming how they view themselves and where they come from. So there's been a lot going on. Expect more of that. Particularly, but also I feel that's really kind of an important aspect is the communication aspect this month, because that is going to be the key. Expect to be busy, expect to be here, there, and everywhere, expect to be invited to lots of stuff, expect to people to ask for your opinions and how you feel about certain things, and you to do it in a direct and forthright way. That's really what the month of February is going to be about, for a majority of you. And this is interesting because there is an aspect of you knowing yourself, and there is an aspect of you creating a new vision for what you want out of 2024. You may not know that quite this month, but by March you will. Okay, Capricorn. So Capricorns, listen, in the first 2 weeks of the month, you've got Mars in your own zodiac sign. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It's happy. You could do a lot. You can work hard. You could achieve a lot. All the things you love. You've also got Venus in there until around about the 17th when it moves into Aquarius. So, you've got diplomacy, you've got harmony. This is a big month. These first 2 weeks, you can, get a lot done. Your ruler Saturn is traveling through Pisces, and that's going through your third house, which is the house of communication. So you can communicate effectively. And Pluto's off your back. Pluto's not in your sign anymore. So Capricorns, listen, guys, this is a really, really strong time for you. This is going to be like right, I'm doing things that I need to. Also, the sun in the financial sector of your chart for the first 3 weeks of the month as well. So you can concentrate on finances, all the things that you kind of really kind of like. And that make you kind of feel good are happening. So Capricorn's lovely February. And just feeling lighter with that Pluto off your back, really. Okay, that moves on to Aquarius. Big month for Aquarius, for a majority of you, birthday month. So the sun is traveling in your own sign. You've got Mercury as well traveling. You're going to have Mars on the 13th that goes into your sign. You've got Pluto. Big transformative month for Aquarians. They're definitely in the zeitgeist, I would say. And, this is the month which I would say is your kind of new year. This is the start of your new year. This is a start when you'll kind of go, okay, I know what I got to do. And you will feel that there's a lot of changes that are taking place around you. And that actually, if you look at it, you direct. You are the director. You are the person that's going to choose what you do, how you do it, who you bring in, and what motivates you. It's no one else, it's you. And for a lot of Aquarians, they're actually kind of like that. They like the independence of it. It's just being careful you don't become too dogmatic in your opinions. That's what I would say. But I have to say that to Aquarians a lot. But I would say, that this is a very, very powerful month where internally, yes, lots of things changing in your responses, but externally, opportunities and seeds of opportunities coming out. And by the end of the month, I would think that you would have a very clear route of how your 2024 is going to pan out for you and how that is going to start to manifest, and it's putting you firmly in the spotlight, very much so. Okay, Pisces. So Pisces, you've got the full moon on the 24th in the 7th house of relationships. You've got Mercury about on the 22nd, 23rd going into your opposite side, into your own sign of Pisces. So there is a focus. You've got Saturn in there as well. I think now Pisces are sort of, because Saturn's been in Pisces since March of 2023, I think a lot of Pisces are starting to feel a bit more comfortable. Certainly your early degree Pisces, you people born from February 19th till around about, February 27th, 28th. I think you guys are getting used to the energy of Saturn. So Saturn's sort of 7-8 degrees now. So if you're born sort of around the sort of 28th, 1st of March, you're starting to feel the Saturn energy, which means that, suddenly life's looking a bit more serious and taking responsibilities on, and duty and limitations and self-discipline, all those kind of Saturnian themes are coming through. The sun is in the 12th house, which is the house of inner development. a need to look at the patterns of behavior from the past. I just feel like with Pisces that a lot of them are experience a real shift in the ability to get things done and to really concentrate and be determined a lot more. And it's that Saturn. And I think with Mercury, and I think with the full moon on the 24th, the opposite side, I think that's really what the tone of this month is going to be a lot about, you know, conserving your energy and knowing what you've got to do and how to do it. And that's actually really, really good because, you know, Pisces sometimes can kind of go off in various different directions. And it's now going, well, actually, you know what? You kind of know which direction you're going in. So it's really good. Okay, so those are the 12 signs of the zodiac. So just a kind of an overview of February. Yeah, it's all the planets are moving forward, which is always good. So a lot happens in that time. You know, Pluto's now moved into Aquarius, so that gives a kind of we'll start to give a flavour of how that's going to manifest. Saturn's moving forward, as I said, Jupiter in Taurus. You know, it's one of those months where I think that, you know, a lot seemingly happens in a very short space of time. If we're talking from an economic and we're talking from a political point of view, a lot can kind of happen. It's all leading to that kind of April period where it all kind of kicks off. Really, that's when it really kind of kicks off. So I think February will be less bitey, if I may say that, than January has been. And for a lot of people, if you feel a little bit overwhelmed in February, which I think could be the case because of the planets moving forward and so much happening, don't panic. Don't go in with don't try and absorb that. There is a lot happening. Doesn't mean you have to go along with it. That's what I would say. Okay, now just on a final note about Pluto, I did this video on Pluto going to Aquarius, and it got you know, comments from people getting a bit worried about it, and you know, if you've got a strong Aquarius or Leo, and how that's going to affect you. Listen, you know, with Pluto on an individual level, you have to look at where Pluto is positioned in your chart, the aspects that it makes as well. You know, and I think that's kind of important. Pluto's very subtle. The best way I could describe the way that Pluto works is that it's like facing a fear, and that takes some time. And you know, it's like the monster in the wardrobe when you're a kid, and then you know, one day you actually get out of bed and then you open the wardrobe and there's nothing there, and it's all your imagination. That's a bit like what Pluto could be like. So don't get too kind of like, oh my God, Pluto's in this placement or opposite this or that in my chart. You know, Pluto can be very strengthening. It can very liberating in the way that Uranus can as well, because once we face our own fears, we can achieve an awful lot. So I think if you're in that kind of thing of like panicking about Pluto, because it's got that sort of 20-year cycle, I get it. You know, you're going to think, oh my God, you know, but it's not like every day. And it has to hit other planets in the sky to bring up stuff. And it's again how you respond. And how you respond is dictated by where Pluto is in your natal chart, the house, and the aspects that it makes natally to other planets of how you respond to that. And that's when you kind of need an astrology reading. Anyway, I hope I've clarified things. Listen, thanks for watching. Please, you know, subscribe to the channel and like the video and comment. And I will speak to you all very soon for exciting news about webinars and also live YouTube videos where you can ask questions. So keep watching, and thank you very much.